Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you one final race for this season, but also for no stabilizers allowed inside of the F1 24 game at the end of the 2024 year. And the announcement I'll just share with you: no stabilizers allowed will not continue as its own league and will be moving to a second division of SSIL, as you can see inside of the chat right now. I've linked it for you. So we will be moving league races to their channel, and I will continue to commentate for you guys. If you're interested, check that out in the coming year. At the start of January, mid-January, should be the starting point of a new chapter, but under a different name, different organizers, admins, but yeah, probably very familiar and similar names on the grid for you. Maybe the awaited return of Critical Damage, who is looking to challenge, or is going to be challenged by Robustian, who took the championship last time out in Abu Dhabi, and that's what we're going to talk about. First and foremost about the standings before we check the result. Look like this. Robustian took the win in the driver's title despite being only third, his lowest season finish at the end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Could not fight Fellison or Andy Andre into turn 9 on the last lap of this 29 lap long race, and he climbed to 99 points with control being not able to race there. It's quite a gap. And he needs to, basically have a DNF for control to take that. Likewise for Fellison. But Fellison is still looking in his mirrors and to see if Kacha is going to take him. Also, Moksha, if he has a good result and Kacha does not, he can jump to 5th. Pleasant Snake, after 2 back-to-back points finishes in 7th there, ahead of Andrew now. And you can see that some other drivers, including Mixu, who's now in the top 12, have scored there big time. And also Kovachka for McLaren into P16. And let's talk about the result again before we jump to the Constructors World Championship. Andy took the win in front of Fellison, who benefited from the VSC after Bosnian helmet spun at the exit of the 14th corner on the Abu Dhabi track, hit the wall and brought out a VSC. Fellison later said he immediately ran to the pits, thinking that was going to be a virtual safety car for sure. Moksha also benefited from that. Also Pleasant Snake, they were not too far behind, but they lost touch after Robustian pulled away from them. And yeah, they had their own little battle. There was a time penalty given to Pleasant Snake later, so he got demoted, I think, to 5th. Haas had a good running still, but Vincenzo's only a reserve, so no points for him there. For the team, I mean. Then, Mixu, Kovachka, and John Meister, only his second return. And 1 point there. Also just missing Vincenzo's fastest lap, despite being on the soft at the end there, sinful. Then it was Quincy, Maverick, and Bosnian and Deary, who did not finish the race. And the Constructors World Championship is still on the board for Mercedes. With Robustian not being here today, they need, as you can see, a very good result. At least first. Is it first and second? 25 plus 15 would equal 40. Yeah, 1 and 3. So they would need a 1 and 3. At least. No, a 1 of 4th place and the fastest lap. That's their minimum if Sauber does not score. Yeah, closer behind is Red Bull. So 6 points between these teams. McLaren is gonna duke it out with Haas and Ferrari for 6, as Racing Bulls have lost touch with the rest of the group. But Williams is now closer to them, only 10 points away. 2 points away, sorry, not 10. I was looking at the 10 that Alpine have, and they are only 3 points ahead of Aston Martin, who scored for the first time again last time out. No, in Qatar, sorry. And we will be moving to the track map for today's Grand Prix. It's the Canada race. That is going to be our 7th race of the season. 3 DRS zones, including on the back straight in front of the infamous World Champions, the last chicane out of 4 on this racetrack. And that's it's start finish straight, as well as the straight between turn 7 and 8 for that 3rd DRS zone. I think was implemented in 2020. It's quite a long time ago already, with only the first sector being really beneficial. If you have more downforce there, more pace, fresher tire, you can get away there. And there you can see if you can pull away here. The tires for you are C5, C4, C3, so I don't expect that to be a soft medium at all, rather a medium hard. And they're gonna be worn out anyway very fast. I expect that to be happening as we move to the session at the dot on the clock, and we have some racers still missing. And Rambens, welcome. 12. Oh no, 12 is correct. Okay, yeah. 12 drivers are duking it out for today's race. Vincenzo is taking V-Cup at the Kickstarter, sorry. And we will be seeing no second Mercedes, so that is already a guaranteed championship for Kickstarter. And once again, sorry if you watched last week's broadcast. I falsely stated that the championship would go down to Canada, but I did not do the math correctly. So yeah, only the Constructors World Championship was still available for today. But as you have seen, John Mice are not available here. Only 2 out of 7 races done. And someone who is very fast but not consistent, neither in his appearances nor in his finishing positions compared to his quality pace as well. It's going to be looking desperate here. Okay, I'm seeing that some drivers have changed. Yeah, so Quincy is not Red Bull. And Supermax is not even here. Do I need to record the results then? Should be maybe doing that. Give me a second. As we have already started with our 18-minute qualifying session of today's 50% race at the Villeneuve circuit on the Ile Notre Dame in Canada. And just gonna get this thing running, and we are on the way. Mercedes from Andy is into the fast lane of the pit lane, as we have already a Moksha at the exit of turn 2, heading into the only real technical challenge with the first chicane. Then it's the second one, infamous for that 2011 race where Vettel lost it on the final lap and gifted the win to Jensen. And now it's into turn 8 and 9. Very awkward chicane, very tight on entry, and the curb is not very polite to you, as the exit is very easy to get wrong, and the real life curb is even worse there. As we head into what is 11, and this little bend is turn 12. Less of a bend compared to Austria, but people are still not talking about that too much. because Austria was always 8 tracks, but then the FIA said, yeah, if one circuit needs at least 10 turns, and they made it a lot more difficult as everyone is out. Doesn't Snake change his name? There's a little piece moved to a capital P, and there's this phase compared to the 13 at the end. As Moksha is also very close to the limit already. 19.3 at the end of his first sector. Let's compare that to Fellison. 19.7, 4/10 slower by the Hungarian compared to the German. This is a bit of overtake at the exit of turn 9. This is apparently not a turn. No, I missed it, for fuck's sake. And Fellison has 41.7. Moksha is the first driver to complete a full lap around here. It's a very short track. Lap times around 1 minute and 9 to be expected. As Moksha comes across the line, blasts every bit of ERS onto the main straight. And Fellison is next across the line, 1 minute 9.9, about a 10.5 for the first McLaren, 12.0 for the second. Control of the line, 9 minute 9. Sorry. Invalidation for Diri, invalidation for Vincenzo. Next is Kacha. Currently very close between the top two, but only 4 people have completed a run. And there's even a space for Kacha. 3 people within 53 thousandths of a second. There's no Sibo in the reserve V-Cup slot. Comes across the line. There's also Quincy in the background. And he's 6. And he's beaten by Quincy to that, as Bosnian has an invalid lap time and a second invalidation as well. As does Vincenzo, and I think Andy was also out on track, but needed to go again. Siba on a 15.1. As Quincy dug in a 12.5 for his first attempt. My voice is already a bit sore. I hope that does not continue for the rest of the evening. Oh my word. 6/10 between 3rd and 4th, but not even. At just around half a second between P1 and P3. That's gonna be certainly interesting, as will be the amount of time penalties people will accumulate for tonight. I expect just a handful of drivers, maybe 3. So 1/4 to be without any time penalties. And I think, my guess is more than half. So 6 or more drivers will have at least 6 seconds after 35 laps on this track. As we jump on board of Andy. Heads into turns 1 and 2. Very crucial exit here. Up the hill. There's only 4 meters of elevation change on this track. As you can expect, it's not a high island. There's no volcano or something like this to bring its natural height up. It's a 19.4 as well for the Romanian driver, compared to Moksha's previous best, measured in the first sector. Fellison had a 41.7. He has a 41.4. So it's faster than Fellison in both sectors. And is looking likely to be at the front as well. Pleasant Snake's first attempt jumps, or brings him up into P5. 10.6 for the Norwegian. As Andy goes over the line out, takes the shortest run to the line, and it's a 10.1. And the top four are only separated now by 0.2 of a second, with another competitor joining. As we watch Deary head into turn 1 and 2, into 3 now. Get your braking spot right, get your turning point right, or your lap time is gone in a second. 19.5 for the Brit, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, could be Wales, sorry. No offense, please. Wasn't meant to be offensive. You know what I mean. Now I missed the sector time, sorry. Had to replug my mouse. And there's a lap time of a 1 minute 11.5 for Novosibirsk, now 2 thousandths behind Vincenzo. As Bosnian is starting his third attempt already. And there he goes into P7 on a 10.8. That's also a 19.4 after the first 5 turns for Bosnian, but as we switched to him, he was very deep into what is turn 6 at the start of second sector. Short lap, short separations, 41.5 after 2 sectors. And now Bosnian Helmet is about to be joining the top 4 as of right now. Final braking spot was hit by him nicely indeed. Across the line, it's also a 9.9. Another driver is in the hunt. Oh my word. Less than 70 thousandths of a second between P1 and P4 as Control improves his lap time by 0.4 of a second. Moksha apparently 1.5 tenths up after 2 sectors. Is he brave enough for a late braking maneuver into World of Championship camp? Certainly look good. And he improves to 9.775 and is now second. And the second he crossed the line, he knew there was a good lap time. But also Katja looking to get some time on his previous first attempt. 7.5 minutes to go. And he has found 0.4 as well. So this is gonna be right up with Control. Katja is finding time with this track being evolving. The natural effect of track evolution, as there's also Andy in front of the Hungarian in the Haas. As he's coming across the line and he's using that Mercedes to his advantage. And he jumps into provisional pole position. It's Katja, who is now first on the road, as Vincenzo also puts in a time that's faster than Bosnian Helmet's time. 9.885. Another driver in contention for a very good starting position. As we are still waiting for Fellison, Pleasant Snake, and Kovachka's improvements. Fellison hasn't even started a lap time, but Andy has already. And Fellison's teammate of Kovachka, who's currently the only driver with a 12 point something lap time, and he improves by roughly 0.6 of a second to jump into 11th, and is now only 1/10 ahead of Novosibirsk starting his lap soon. What can Andy bring to the table? He's currently 0.7 behind provisional pole position. back-to-back second places inside of the Drivers' Championship. After coming short to Critical, he has come short to Robustian, and he is currently short on the front row on the grid. Jumps into third. And now we have people on a 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8 and 9.9. There is really not much in it, as it has been after the first attempts. And Ferguson is back into the pit lane, but Pleasant Snake is finishing his attempt. Also 9.9 and into 6th position. Currently besting his teammate of Bosnian, who is on a lap right now as well. I think Vincenzo. Oh, there was Andy a bit in the way. Half a second improvement for Vincenzo. If he can bring that to the line, he has potentially a 9.3 on his cards. 4 minutes 45 to go. Candy, reserve driver from Italy, jump into provisional pole position. Last couple of turns. Mastered the last chicane. Fellison has lost connection. And Vincenzo is up into third. Couldn't bring it over the line fully. Lost roughly 2/10 in the final sector. 9.599 for the Italian. Let me see if I can invite Fellison again. And that's a DNF for Fellison, unfortunately, after a disconnect. As I have suffered myself last time, 6 days ago. And he will be not improving past P8, which is currently not very good, as Nocibo has already established himself. Control! 1 minute 9.1! How does he do that? So much time currently on the board. 8/10 faster than his first attempt with 3.5 minutes to go. Fellison back into the session. Andy and Bosnian he did improve. He found 3/10. Moksha still waiting for an improvement. If he finds 2 or 3/10, he could be looking at a P3 start. With Snake now being beaten by his teammate by roughly 280 thousandths of a second. Bosnian is now between Andy and Moksha. And Nocibo jumped from last into P9 on a 10.6. Well, now Quincy and Kovachka are the only drivers that have a time that is higher than a 1 minute 11. As we approach the last 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. Very famous in American football. But this is your final calling on the final day of no stabilizers allowed, as we have come to see, enjoy and love over the time I've been commentating on. Joined midway through Season 3 and watched Critical take back-to-back championships in Season 4 and 5. Or was that in Season 4? I think only that was in Season 4, I think, yeah. Quincy has found 4/10, that is good, but it is currently not really enough. He needs some sort of a slipstream, is not getting that from Deri or Vincenzo, wherever that was. He's the guy who's currently out on his final attempt. He still has some time if he crosses the line now. Oh, that's a lot of curb on the exit. No, on the entry into the final chicane, sorry. And he loses a lot of time there, only a 10 faster. And control even improves further. 1 minute 8.8 8.86 as Jerry spins it out here, I think. Yeah, he has done. He's out of qualifying with his final attempt ruined after 2 turns. Katsha, Moksha, Vincenzo, all on laps right now. Let's watch Katsha. 600ths improvement. Let's see what Vincenzo can do. Turn 5, done at sector done. Also finds an improvement. 800ths of a second. Katsha into turn. What is turn 10? Is slower currently. So advantage for Vincenzo. Can he find more time? A bit. He lost a bit. It's very tight. But Vincenzo needs at least a 10th. Bit over 10th. Quincy's done for the session as we watched his lap time earlier. Slight improvement for Katsha. There was a slipstream from Diri given to his reserve teammate. Let's see if that might have opened the floodgates. No, it did not. It was a nice improvement. As Andy heads into the pits, only 5th, and Moksha jumped to 3rd. Also 9.3, very close to Katsha, but could not complete the time really, as we watched the last runner being able to change anything about this result. Pleasant Snake into the fine chicane wall of champions. Very close, and he hits it! Pleasant Snake, you're not allowed to do that! And that is calamity for the Ferrari driver, who is unable to improve on his lap time after going too wide on the exit, running wide into the wall of champions. Famously named after the 1999 race. The 3 world champions clattered into the wall, including Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, and I think it was Mika Häkkinen. Not too sure, let me check. Keep going. Okay, the start is gonna be in 5 minutes time, so I'm just gonna use that. Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher, Jack Villeneuve. Okay, sorry, Mika. Okay, quick break for you as we await the start in around 5 minutes time. Grab yourself a snack, maybe head to the toilet before you want to watch this one for certain. It's only 12 drivers, but it's still gonna be a lot of fun. See you soon. And we are back, just minutes, maybe seconds away from the race start for the final official race of no stabilizers allowed, as we just go to 5 red lights, 2 on the gantry at the same time, and control against Kacha on the front. There is Vincenzo and Moksha at the back. To the inside goes the Red Bull driver. Can Kacha make it work around the outside that turns to the inside of 2? He has the medium tires compared to controls. Hard tires, and Fallison has been disconnected and left the session. He had the infamous retirement bug after his controls inside of his PC have stopped working. I don't need the lap times, thank you. I wanted the tires. Control, Vincenzo Bosnian. Vincenzo lost 2 positions there to Pleasant Snake and Andy. On the hard tires, you need to manage those. These are very cold at the start, especially with no formation left. You don't have the fuel there. And even the set standard tire temperature for your race start without the formation lap is not going to be very helpful. As Pleasant Snake, no, that was Bosnian, gets a bit wrong at the exit of what was the fine chicane. Yeah, the only happen we have here is Kacha and Controller still running at the front. Moksha very close. Andy with a bit of a lock up into the wall of Championship Chicane. Just counting that we have 5 medium runners and the rest is on the hards. And the top 4 are within each other's DRS zone, as Vincenzo was struggling on the opening lap, still trying to get his car in the right optimum window, not trying to overdrive the car, as he needs these hards to last, and obviously do not lose, or is at least trying to not to lose the DRS to the car in front, as there's been a 30-second time penalty already handed to Nosiba. Kovatska overtakes the V-Cup reserve and is into 9th position. Quincy with a good start is currently in 8th behind Bosnian helmet in the Ferrari and can benefit from that. DRS is well controlled. Is he under pressure from Kacha? It's the final one. You want to go out with a bang, and Kacha takes the lead at the end of lap 2, and Moksha has a nice run at the exit of turn 14 as we go to the inside of turn 1, turns to the outside for the Williams driver. He has the upper hand right now, and Control, rightfully so, slots in behind the German, who has now taken 2nd position off of him, as Quincy receives a 30-second time penalty as well. As still within the DRS of Bosnian helmet as we jump towards the back here. Top 8 are still visible on a straight, are very closely matched. And Quincy is staring down on that rear wing of the Ferrari ahead as we are approaching the next opportunity for people to get overtakes done. And Vincenzo was again a bit loose on the exit there. Turn 10 and 11, his car and the rears were not really for his liking, and Bosnian is losing touch to them. As Vincenzo is trying to fight Pleasant Snake into turn 1. Goes to the inside, goes deep, cuts across. The Ferrari takes that position back, and he runs it back on him with the infamous switchback. Outer line and outer and inner line for the respectable turns, as Pleasant Snake has now lost the DRS to the group ahead. So this is now a 2nd group, and this is the 3rd group, as Kovatska leads Nosibo, who leads Derry, and Vincenzo makes it a move into turn 8. Very rare overtaking opportunity or spot to say, and Andy gets it all wrong. I thought I saw someone going down and deep into the hairpin, and now this group has a new leader as Pleasant Snake And Moksha takes to the lead of the race as Kacha was overtaken by the German now, and Bosnian has overtaken his teammate Pleasant Snake, and then there was a bunch up effect that got all squeezed together with Vincenzo slowing down, and then Quincy also running into the back of the Kick Sauber ahead, as the rest behind us already lost the group. 4 seconds. They were very, very slow in qualifying. Over a second to P2. And they have currently battled so much. They are losing so much time. They're also on the hards, but they should be working after 5 laps, not faster than the mediums, but it's very hard to get people out of your DRS window here, as Andy was able to benefit from that internal battling the Ferraris had. As we see that Andy is now the only one outside of a group. Quincy was close to losing that DRS. Has he lost it? Seems to be, and there was a collision at the back. Kovetska had a collision, and Moksha has been overtaken by both of the other cars. Both of the other cars have improved their position. Kacha into first, Control second, Moksha is back into third. And Andy can benefit off of that if he has some pace to get them back running again. As Bosnia is now leading his teammate in a 5-6 position. And they will currently beat McLaren, but not Haas, for P4. For P4 in the Constructors World Championship. As Kick Sauber has taken it already before the start of the race, because Mercedes didn't show up with two people, and Kacha has lost control. He used an overtake on Moksha and Control to get away, and Moksha is probably recharging his battery right now. And Andy is back. And Quincy is fighting Vincenzo, and they're gonna be losing out big time now. Yes, used by Quincy. Moksha into turn 1. Takes control. As Vincenzo is now ahead. Loses the car once again. It's not really comfortable with the hard tire, it seems, at the moment. And now the groups have split even more. Top 4 became 2, 3, and 4. P5 to 8 now becomes P5 and 6. 7 is now leading the charge of P8. As Deary, Kovetska, and Nocibo are all across the board. As we see Control take second away from Moksha once again. If there was a camera there. No sign of rain, no clouds in the sky that suggest a change of weather, change of scenery in the sky. Bosnia is dragging Snake along very nicely. And Quincy unable to follow the hard tire of Vincenzo right now. He has management. A bit better for the reserve and the Kick Sauber, as we remind ourselves of the tires. So early stops coming from Kacha, Moksha, Andy, Snake, and Quincy in, I suggest, probably 7 laps time. Can't imagine them running them longer than lap 15. So Moksha was a bit loose, and now Andy has a chance to take third off of the German. Williams versus Mercedes going to be continued between a Romanian and a German tomorrow. As I announced, SSRL will be taking over. And just as I say that, the owner and founder of SSRL just gets a time penalty. So SSRL takes over this league at the start of next year. Second week of January. It's gonna be the second division, still run on Monday. Half an hour later, probably commentated by me, as per usual. But this is gonna be the final race under this name, under the current organization and admins. As they stated, it would be the best for the drivers and for the future. A lot of frustration is probably gonna be in this one for Fellison as well, who's not gonna finish, not really start his final race in his own league. Supermax is not here with us. Quincy back into the DS of Vincenzo Sneckers, lost touch to Bosnian, who's closing in on this group. We're still fighting for P number 2. 2.4 seconds have come down to 1.7 seconds. Katja is probably also feeling his tires sooner rather than later. Quincy's managing despite the tires, and there's Katja. Control ahead of Andy and Moksha, 4 different constructors. Inside the top 4, Mercedes are gonna manifest. Second in the drivers, second in the constructors. If it stays like this, points of Red Bull are not gonna be enough. Moksha's gonna take his team 1 position ahead with that result. And Ferrari improved to 5th, but not 4th. As they're not scoring enough points, as Control gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's huge. That's huge for the race. He is on the hards right now. He is still going long. But when one stone falls, the other ones come through as well. Usually one penalty enables drivers to get multiple ones. And there's Vincenzo as well. 30 seconds for troubles. You can see that Bosnian is now into the fight again. Moksha is losing the DS that he currently had towards Andy. They are all on very low ERS. He's still in there. And Bosnian is in there as well. So it's now a closer fight with 4 cars for second. Did he get the ERS? He did. Andy did not. And Katja is losing his advantage. .2. He needs to be aware that stopping first is his only advantage of getting rid of undercuts from drivers behind, which I expect to be very good as we watch Quincy and Vincenzo fight it out again. That was very tight on track limits again for turn 1. Too much over the curb on the inside, and now he runs. Still behind there. The next car behind is 12 seconds. Is Nosibo is fighting Derry there. On the hards. Bosnian. Oh, they make contact! Bosnian wanted to go around the outside of turn 8. But this wall that always just pokes out onto the racetrack there at the exit. That was a very bizarre location for another DS zone, you have to say. Especially with the end there under the bridge. 4 people on foot. As Bosnian now takes Moksha despite that collision into turn number 13. and is now leading his teammate by 4.5 seconds. So Sebo and Dario are still fighting, you see. Now they have all lost DS, only Moksha is inside the DS, so let's jump back to look at the fight. Sorry here. Dairy with a 3-second time penalty behind that. Quincy is unable to get by on Vincenzo. Pit stop should be happening soon for medium runners because control is inside the DS of Gacha and he's not looking very comfortable anymore. And it is the C5 hard tire, no, the C3 hard tire, should last very long. Quincy with another time penalty. It's already 9 seconds on the board. There's only one of the top runners has currently endured a time penalty. Pit stop from Kacha. And he goes through. Moksha follows Darren Garin in the Haas. As the group is now more split up. Tire warm-up is complicated here. Very low speed turns. Can't really hit the brakes too hard. There's another 3-second time penalty for Vincenzo. Just spun at the exit of 4. And Kovachka's retired inside the pit lane. And there's a spin by Derry as well. And that's a double DNF for McLaren. Okay, let's see what Andy does now. Check gaps. Moksha 21 behind the leader. But Andy is 19 behind that. Hard tires. Obviously. Moksha is approaching the final couple of turns. He's currently faster, but Andy can cut the outside of turn 1 and is ahead, but there's no tire heat available to him right now. So Moksha needs to be pushing fast to make this one work here. And he did not do so. 1.1 seconds between the Williams and the Mercedes. Bosnian and Snake have continued on. Snake is on the mediums. That is interesting. It's jumping in now. And he has lost them big time. They are further ahead than previously. Shanzo pitted to the mediums already, but that is a tire that is not going to last for the next roughly 19 laps. Control has some laps to go. I'd say at least 5. And currently would be falling down to P5. Maybe he's on the verge of being dropped to P5. Could also be P3. What is currently P3? Bosnian not faster than Control ahead. Moksha's trying to manage the gap to Andy, 1.5 seconds. So there's no real fight for any position right now. Bosnia is gonna be certainly behind Moksha and in front of Snake, so it's only a real opportunity here if someone causes a safety car, and Quincy does so, but he is not. He retires inside the pit lane, but the virtual safety car still came out. That's interesting. There's no real opportunity presented here because that's still half the distance to go. But Control is trying to take advantage of this. So does Bosnian. But 18 laps on the medium? Despite less fuel weight? That's gonna be a tough task, but it's the only real opportunity they have, really. And Bosnian could be in this. The DRS is being re-enabled. Kacha will take the lead, but it's close. It's gonna be very close here. Is Control ahead of Andy because of this? He is! The Red Bull leads the Mercedes, and Bosnian is also ahead of Moksha. Oh my words, but these tires need to be saved, need to be handled with care to make it till the end of this race. I don't think 17 is gonna be very enjoyable. Doable, but not enjoyable. And Control now has a fighting chance. He cannot push too fast, but he kind of needs to be getting away from Andy. And maybe can make some sort of an agreement to be behind Kacha, but not overtake him. And them boosting themselves along to get away from the pack behind. Because that is certainly the biggest opportunity he has. Bosnian is very close to Andy. Fastest lap by Andy. Interesting. Maybe Quincy retired before the line and the game thought, well, hang on, this is still on the track. Maybe that was the issue. We will find out later, maybe in the interviews, as Vincenzo puts in the fastest time of the race so far, as Bosnian is really pushing on. Deep, oh, and he locks the fronts deep into the hairpin and has now lost a bit of the front tire wear. Moksha was really shafted by this. Good opening stint, but then suffered and also did not benefit from that virtual safety car, obviously. Only the hard runners did. Controls into the DRS window of Kacha, and I think that's gonna be the pairing who's gonna duke it out for the win. Bosnian also with a 3-second time penalty. Oh, that brings in Moksha back in. Moksha's back into currently 4th position, but he needs to be making sure he's benefiting when these two fight here, because they're very close again and Moksha has lost extra time. Bosnian wants to get by on Andy and is ahead by the time they turn in for what is the 3rd final chicane on this racetrack, turns 8 and 9. The infamous Alonso chicane! And there's Andy locking his fronts and hitting the back of Bosnian, spinning him around. That is certainly a penalty for the Romanian driver's control is switching the 1-2 for the Hungarians up. And now Moksha has gained the position here. And Andy is certain he needs to get a move on, because that is at least a 3, maybe a 5-second time penalty. That was way too late from Andy. Bosnian was clearly ahead, had the right to his braking point, did not lock up himself, did not choose a very early, risky braking point. I think that is totally to blame on Andy, from what I've just seen. But the stewards obviously will decide that, and that's a very ugly note to this finale, where drivers want to make an impression, want to show that they are maybe worth of a spot inside of the first division. And I think a couple of drivers who are very likely, in my opinion, to stay in the second division inside this Monday slot. Yeah, there's only really one left, and that's Nocebo. The rest is fast enough for the Division 1. And there are 2 have also retired, with Dere and Kovachka. Moksha's been hunted now by Bosnian. Skacha is still within roughly half a second of the current race leader control, as we've already approached the second third of the race, as Bosnian takes Moksha into turn 6. Let's remind ourselves of the positions gained and lost. 2 for Andy, Bosnian, 1 for Snake and Sibo, 2 lost by Moksha, and 3 lost by Vincenzo, who had a very poor opening stint. 1 stop currently for everyone, even for the retired ones, apart from Fellison. And mediums on Vincenzo, no Sibo, who just pitted again from his hard stint. Did not think it was worth it to risk the tire life under the virtual safety car, but Control and Bosnian have, and currently it brought them into positions they were meant to fight for at the end of the race, maybe. They still need to make sure their tires last. 9 seconds worth of time penalties for Nocebo, 6 for Vincenzo, 3 for Bosnian, and 3 for Control, who is currently still being funnily observed by the Haas driver, who's looking to better his best finish inside of the season. That was, I think, a 3rd place in the second race. Have to look that up, and there's very loose end on Control. Let's give this a quick shout, and Kacha was 2nd in Vegas. Okay, 2nd for Kacha in Vegas, but he was 3rd in the opening race of the season. We can see this beautiful rear diffuser cam at the back end of the car, next to the red blinking rear light that is inside of a dry race, indicating that your driver is derating, so the electric engine is not deploying any more power. And this is obviously achieved if you know the understandings of the Formula electric power unit, as there was a nice lockup by Control that maybe enables Kasha for an overtake, but he does not seem to be bothered with it right now. He's playing the long game. It's 11 laps to go. The driver in front has softer tires that will probably not last the whole way on race pace. And the guy in front has also 3-second time penalty. What I was referring to was when you're in a higher gear, the electrical power, as two different drivers at the fastest lap of the race, with Bosnian and Moksha also closing in on Andy now. The higher the gear, the more power, the more speed you have accomplished on a certain part of the track, the less electrical power is applied from your or to your car. And as you all know probably, that curse, the kinetic energy recovery system achieved by braking inside of the 2010 to 13 seasons, were converted into electrical power system inside of the engine that is deployed at the exit and in low gears, and you can adjust that deployment with the use of the different ERS modes, which we have again 4 of compared to F1 2018 and 19, where you had 5 modes to choose from. And after being 3 seconds to Andy, there's another 3-second time penalty, and Bosnian is fighting the Mercedes into turn 1. He locks up a bit. It's an opportunity, an opening for Moksha. He's very close to the rear end of the Mercedes. Bosnian has already gapped Andy at the exit by 6/10. And Moksha can be benefiting at the end of the race from both time penalties from the drivers ahead, and he is currently into third, but could not make anything out of that situation where two guys fought into turn 1. And yeah, just to add to that, talk about the technical side of the engine and the electrical engine. If you have used too much of your energy and are below a certain percentage level, you are also blinking, which means and indicates to drivers ahead, especially on straights, that you are running low on ERS and you are vulnerable to drivers behind. And that has been changed to a more realistic approach after last year, where it didn't really seem to be affecting the engine was working. It's still not perfect and not like real life, but way better than before. And also, there were only 2 ERS modes available, which was medium by default and overtake inside the F1 23 game. And Moksha has lost the DRS again. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Let's see if Kacha wants to maybe take this on the race track. He's currently using a bit of overtake at the exit. Puts his car into hot lap, but into medium soon after that. Moksha push into the 1 second, but has also not gotten the DRS. Now he has. He didn't use. No, he has not. Okay, that was a false display of information there. 7 laps to go, and he's currently lost a very crucial part to a potential 3rd position. 1.7 between Bosnian and him. So he's currently still benefiting from that time penalty. And also Bosnian's tires are running out of laps where they are good on. So that enables Andy probably to be back inside of a fight and brings the gap down between these drivers. But currently, yeah, Moksha is about to be 2 seconds behind. We watch Kacha still running behind here, and you can say that Control's early penalty inside of lap 11 has cost him dearly so far. But it's, yeah, still a lot of opportunities for anyone to get multiple warnings inside of 1 lap, even if you have only gotten 0 or 1 inside of this race so far. You know, Andy doesn't want to be behind Bosnian too long. And you have to say that the move by Andy is certainly also a factor he should be thinking about. He should rather use his tires, his energy to make way, to push past the 3 seconds he currently has. Maybe extend the gap here. That is worth for a post-race penalty, as Nocebo swaps position with Bosnian, with Vincenzo, who just put on a new set of medium tires, and Kacha has finally had enough of the rear wing, off control, takes the lead of the race at the end of lap 29, and is now your new race leader, and it's looking like he will lock this one out at this state of the race. And Moksha's completely gone now. As I said, only a time penalty from Andy after that collision can bring him back into 4th. But yeah, he's close to being outside of that original 3 seconds Andy has right now, and Bosnian is pushing him on. And these two are fighting for net position as of right now on the track for what is currently the podium. And control has been gapped already by Kacha, has pushed on. And there's no DS available to the Red Bull car. And although that's a good result currently for Ferrari, it's not enough to take the points away from the now race leading car of the Haas team, who will no doubt secure 4th in the constructors. Ferrari will be 5th, and McLaren is going to lose out after a double DNF. Inside of the real F1 season, they scored their first points after 10 years. But on this day, they will not score anything, as Moksha has now lost completely 5 seconds almost behind, and Andy locks up going into turn 6. But his tires are in a good and better shape than the ones from Bosnian ahead. Quick reminder that on the opening lap, Vincenzo takes the fastest lap of the race again. On the opening lap, they had roughly, in the opening stint, sorry, they were high on fuel and completed 13 laps. But they will need to complete 17, and the rears are probably very, very short. And if there's one thing you need your rears for, then it's the racetrack at Canada, because there's so many chicanes. As Vincenzo is overtaking Nocebo for 7th, time penalty wise. He's also ahead. And Moksha's completely gone. That is certainly done and dusted. Snake being in no man's land for a good amount of time as well. Fresher tires than the Williams ahead, but 6 seconds worth right now. Can see Kacha and control there in the distance, and they're getting close to the back of the Ferrari once again as we jump on board from the rear wing view of the Ferrari with those HP logos from the Miami GP onwards, where they announced a partnership with HP. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Blue on the Ferrari is still odd, but if you ask me, they should have opted for a very sky blue or very light blue version for the whole car. A slight touch of blue is fine. A bigger touch of blue is not fine, and Vincenzo must have touched the wall there too much. And he will be hurting, because this race hasn't gone his way at all. Started in a good position, is finishing currently 8th. And almost being lapped as well soon. Snagger's caught up to Moksha as well. Who's losing more and more time. Andy is probably gonna pull out to the outside now. Makes this an easy pass. Control has lost more time, and he's also close to Andy. But I don't think that will stand. That hit into the rear, into the back of Bosnian was quite significant, and Bosnian was looking for an inside line there on the inside of Andy, but there wasn't really a door. There wasn't really a door. What are you thinking? That was kind of desperate there from Bosnian. He might have fried his tires now, as Katja has already made his way into the 3rd sector. And Bosnian cuts the corner, gets another 3-second time penalty. He currently also demotes him to 5th position. And Snake just opted for a soft tire to get that fastest lap point off of Vincenzo, who would have needed to pit now, but it's too late. Is Andy inside? Yeah, he is well inside that DRS window. Bosnian heads for the pits on the final lap. Retires, okay. I had enough maybe of Andy, not sure. Katja has opened up the final lap of this race. The final lap of no stabilizers allowed under this current leadership of Ferguson and Supermax. I would like to thank them for their opportunity, thank them for their nice welcome, as I wanted to start another journey in commentary, the first time in English, and there was Andy now with another 3-second time penalty. So he is not gonna be second for sure at the end of this final stretch of the racetrack, final part of these laps, of these corners. They are still duking it out. Katja's gonna take the win, but who's gonna take on track second between Control and Andy? Looks to be Andy, but Katja's winning this one by a mile. Has made all the right calls in terms of strategy. There was an opportunity after virtual safety car, but he takes his best result of the season at the final race of the season, and it is very short end of a season with only 8 drivers also finishing this race. Pleasant Snake is going to be next across the line, and Katja's taken all 3 spots on the podium. Congratulations, Control, very strong race, but the tires not really lasting there, and the 3-second time penalty early on did not help him. Pleasant Snake takes the fastest lap for Ferrari as well, as they drop more points. Bosnia probably not scoring even half the points, if I'm correct. Nocibo and Vincenzo are still duking it out. More time penalties for Nocibo. Still gonna be 6 for Vincenzo. Goes to the inside. That's very tight there. And there's a spin, unfortunately, for Nocibo. It was a blast while we were here. We watched some incredible racers go head to head. Incredible races. Incredible and very fair fights throughout the season. This race had an exception, to be honest, but it has been a blast. And as I said before, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for rewatching the VODs. This chapter comes to a close as Katja takes victory in Canada, Montreal, in front of Control and Andy. And it is time to move to a new, exciting future for what was no stabilizers allowed. Critical damage, Nordic, Ninja, as well as Robustian, Andy Andre, also Moksha with a win in Monza. Some of these names will always be inside of the history box of this league's history, and although it was only, you can say, 6 seasons long, it was certainly a blast from these drivers. And we watch Moksha take 4th, Snake 5th, Vincenzo 6th, Sibo is 7th after Boston decided to call it a day, Quincy 9th, Derry 10th, Kowalska 11th, and unfortunately Fallison on his final day in his own league, not able to even complete one lap. It has been an utter horror show throughout the season. Last time it was very nice, but he finished off the season in a very, you can say, unloving way, where this game is not really enjoying their time together between Fallison and Codemasters, and we will have a short break before we head to final interviews of this season, of this year, of this league. Stay tuned. Just 2 minutes until we speak to the top 3 and whoever wants to join them. We are back for some drivers' interviews after tonight's final race of the season and what is going to be closing race of a chapter that has been no stabilizers allowed. And with this year, the 2024 year, we're going to conclude this season. Unfortunately, the race winner is not with us today, so we are just going to start off with Andy. Third place there at the end, and it's going to be one of those days where you just fight it out and still something is not going right for there. Some time penalties, an incident with Bosnian helmet. At the end, you were only always going to be second here. How was that race from your side?
Uh, well, it wasn't too bad considering what I was expecting. I didn't have too much time this week to focus on the track, and I was expecting to be in the lower half. But qualifying went decent, and the race pace initially was pretty good. So I was hoping for the podium initially, and then the contact with Bosnian ruined that my bit. I think it was mostly my fault. I hit him from behind. Of course, I can always argue that he braked a little too early, but yeah, I'm sure it's mostly on me, and I should have kept a safer distance. But aside from that, it was a fun race. I was fighting. I had on-track battles all along, and it was enjoyable. And at the end, the hards were very good compared to the mediums of the others, and I could push a bit and even uh, uh, make a make up one or two positions at the end. So yeah, I'm happy about how it went down.
Yeah, obviously the safety car was the only, or at that time, the only real opportunity for the hard runners, including Bosnian and Control at the front, to get back something on you. When they were inside of that group after they rejoined, did you think that was certainly gonna be just some sort of endurance race till the end, just making sure you don't lose too much time, don't have incidences or time penalties? Or were you a bit concerned that they actually could push away? The S braking is a bit more easy when you have a tire advantage like this, or will just solely focus on how you could bring these tires still into working window when you had some laps already on them and compared to the fresher medium?
Well, mostly I was focusing to not be too aggressive in the final corner and not take too many risks. I needed 1 or 2 points to keep ahead of control in the championship to keep P2. So if he had managed to get the win, I would have needed at least a couple of points. So I always focused more on that, just trying to get the car home in one piece.
Yeah, obviously you have once again finished a season on second position, also this time with the team championship as well, and you have certainly made yourself a name and a staple inside of this and the Tuesday league that is going to be taking over this one. What are you looking forward to the most in the next coming week, especially with that Christmas break coming up, some time to rest after probably a very uh, entertaining and challenging race tomorrow? What is your hopes and dreams a bit for a coming second division if you are gonna race on Monday? And what are you looking forward to do inside of this very beloved spot on Monday for league racing?
I haven't given it much thought. I didn't know before just earlier right now that this was gonna be the final season of NSA. So yeah, as I said, I didn't give much thought to Monday nights, but yeah, now I'm gonna surely look into alternatives, see what Quincy is lining up. But until then, I'm mostly waiting for 1 or 2 weeks off. I can say I'm missing a bit of time off from racing.
Okay, then wish you the best for the future. Great Christmas and a good start to 2025.
Yep, thank you all. Thank you again for all the work this season,
No
and happy
problem.
holidays.
You sure made it entertaining. Okay, thank you very much and speak to you soon. Second driver we are speaking to tonight is gonna be Williams, the driver Moksha. Yeah, Moksha at the end. Yeah, you just lost out to that DRS chain from what was at the time Bosnian and Andy, who got himself further away from you. You could not really benefit off of the penalties. Then he got a late one, and you were just yeah, close to getting that yeah, podium here at the end. As I said, there was a collision. Maybe Bosnian is going to report it, and that you still can transition into the podium. But a bit sad ending, I would say, compared to how your opening stint was, where you were fighting for the lead. How did that maybe second phase of the race with the pit stops and the hards, did it not favor your racing style here today? Did you just not put your hands on the tires here today, or what was it that didn't enable to push for a strong podium finish at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I struggled the whole season, and Canada's definitely not one of my favorites, as I told you last week. Yeah, it was a bit sad because Control tried, yeah, how do I say it, an overtake, and we lost Katja. And I think this was crucial because he couldn't match up the speed with the hards at the beginning, and Katja ran away, with his mediums. And I think I had a bit more pace in it, but I didn't want to try too much because I knew I would stop earlier than Control, and try to undercut maybe Andy or something like that. And yeah, it did work out, but at the end it was very tight. GG's to Bosnian and Andy. They fight a lot. That was my chance to get back into the DRS train, but I didn't have the speed on the hards. So yeah, I was just lucky to finish without any penalties, and P4 is, I think, more than suitable.
Yeah, you talk about the tire lies and now that played out, especially at the end there with the mediums after they pitted for the virtual safety car. They were obviously earlier in the fight than you would have expected, and that obviously enabled them to get into fights rather early without using too much of their tires. Did you just try to focus on this trying to be in the train, or was you also a bit concerned that they, as they did at the end a bit, to break from the DRS, be in a position where you probably should have been? Or was it at that time only just managed to bring it to the end? There was still like 19 laps to go at that time where the safety car came out. What was your mindset going into that second phase when they came out inside of that group around P3, P4? Yeah, when the basically this all of the stops were already done.
Yeah, I mean, the VSC was very unlucky because I think Bosnian wouldn't have been there if the VSC didn't come. I just tried to survive, to be honest. It was so hard to keep it on track, to keep it without penalties. I think I had 2 warnings, so I was very careful and tried to stick in the DRS train, but my pace was just wasn't enough to keep it there. So yeah, as told before, I was just hoping Bosnian and Andy fighting a bit more, which they did. I think Bosnian got damaged at the end because he went to pits 1 or 2 laps before the finish. Yeah, I mean, this was my pace. Bosnian is always a strong driver, and Andy too, as we know all. And yeah, just to finish that close to them, it's a really good points for me for today.
Yeah, obviously, at this very short season, you finished in sixth position. You just beat V Cup also to seventh. Yeah, obviously, after a very interesting team dynamic with Jack last time out, you've been the one man army for Williams throughout the season. There was only basically your points being brought to the table. Yeah, just confirmed that. Yeah, only your points at the end there. Was that also one of your points where you looked at before the season that you was solely focusing on your performance? You made a step up, winning that race in Monza last season, then had a break and didn't race until the end. Now came back. Bit of a poor start with being only scoring 5 points in the first two races. What is your verdict at the end of this very short 7 race only season?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the season, I struggled a lot with setups. So I just didn't have the pace or didn't have the. I wasn't comfortable in the car, so I changed that a bit. So the last races went a bit better. Yeah, I just really focusing on my own performance because Jörg, I mean, he's always a good driver, but always a bit in the back, and we have so much fast drivers in the front where it's really hard to keep up with them, like Fellison, Bosnian, Robastian, Andy, and so on. So I need a lot of practice in a week to just stay near them. Yeah, that my approach was just have a fun season because it's very short and concentrate on the next one. Yeah, very sad that it won't be NSA anymore. At this point, big thanks to Pellison and Supermax, which made really racing fun again for me because I had a pause of 2 years, 3 years, and this league brought me back. And yeah, as told before, it was very fun racing these guys, and I hope I still see them on SSRL.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, looking forward obviously to Christmas break now. Roughly, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks off. Yeah, what is your plan if you touch the control at all for the off season? Do you think you can already prepare for a bit of the weaker tracks you just had, or do you just gonna take it until yeah the challenge rises again? And what are your hopes for your personal growth into 2025?
Honestly, I'm in some leagues which are still racing even over the Christmas time, so I will be a reserve there because I miss racing too much to not race. And yeah, I prepare for SSRL for the Monday and for the Tuesday division because I really love the Mondays and the Tuesdays, so I won't miss it definitely. And yeah, I just keep driving without the free time now and hope I make some level up to stay in the front with the front runners again.
All right, wishing you the best and speak to you soon. Have a nice break.
Yeah, you too, and thank you for your all your hard work also. And
No problem.
yeah, really miss it.
All right, speak to you. There
Yeah.
is another driver we need to talk about. Today it's only DNF and P9, but it was reserved driver Quincy. Yeah, Quincy, obviously at the start that wasn't too shabby from you. You stayed inside a top 8 group that was at the time running along inside of the DIS. Then after that, there was a fight between Vincenzo and you that got a bit hairy at times. And then, yeah, later just a retirement with lots of penalties also on the board. How was the race from you until yeah, it went a bit south after you lost the DRS there to the top group? What was the feeling inside of the car, and how did it go down the drain today?
I think it went down the drain with all the track limits. It wasn't hard keeping the car on track, but Canada is not one of my strong tracks. Always having track limit issues here. At some points, I got too many warnings, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna send it. If I get penalties, I get penalties because I'm at the back anyway. I was just trying to keep up with the Ferraris and Vincenzo. Unfortunately for Vincenzo, he had a lot of oversteer, so a lot of going into corners and coming out of corners. I just had to try and be careful not to be collected by him or not to, cause any damage. And eventually he spun out after turn three, and that's how I made the pass. Unfortunately, I went for the strategy pit in alongside Andy, and as I was coming out of the pits, the wheels touched a bit of the grass, and I broke my wing. So I then
Mm.
decided to retire, just due to being at the back, and thought, I might as well go and do some practice for some Spain or whatnot. So I ended up trying to. I braked at the pit entry, and the computer took over, and that's when I started to retire. And then all of a sudden, the virtual safety car came out. So I'm not sure if that was my fault. So I apologize for that. It was just obviously I was going back into the pits to retire as per the rule book. So um, pace was okay. I think I did quite well to keep up with the guys using some new tricks that I learned from you about the ERS deployment and usage. So I think I'm starting to find my confidence again and actually looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I was wondering how that safety car came about because I was certain that Mr. Roebuck would find a way to retire inside of the pit lane. But yeah, must have been some sort of this crossing stage where the game thought, okay, you were still retired on track basically. But I was also
Mm.
seeing people smash into the pit wall and they get sent back onto track, teleported. So yeah, yeah. Obviously, you've been in a reserve driver role. There was nothing really in terms of a championship position. You're fighting, therefore, more for experience and obviously some, yeah, usual warm up or prep for the Tuesday races where the calendar was synced. Apart from this final race, yeah. Tell us a bit more about the plans for the people out there as well. What is now going to be happening for SSL? And the now end of No Stabilizers Allowed. A bit of an insight for the people out there watching and maybe rewatching that VOD on YouTube.
Yeah, me and Fellison have known each other for quite a while. We help each other quite often. And he came to me with some frustrations of him not wanting to obviously take part in the running of the league anymore, just due to the way the game is. I'm sure everyone knows that the game is not as good as it possibly could be because of EA and all the bugs, etc. So he came to me and he asked me if I was willing to open another division because he knows how much I love to run and organize. So that's what we did. We created a second division on the Mondays. Everyone in NSA is welcome to join. We're going to see if we can put out some adverts to get the grid as full as we can do for the first race, which will be a mystery GP on January 6th. So that's the first race. Got 16 race calendar. It's all set up. The server's all set up ready to accommodate everybody. We're gonna organize the team in the fairest ways possible to ensure that we get some good fights along the grid. So no two top two drivers together, for example. So we're looking forward to it. I'm hopefully going to have you as commentator for that Division 2 on the Mondays, and SSRL on Tuesdays. Division 1 is going to remain the same, where we just get together on a Tuesday. So everybody knows how that goes. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, obviously, when you talk about the second division and maybe football, other sports you can watch on telly, usually a second division means it's lower on skills. That going to be the same for the second tier, or how it's going to work out for the driver pool?
So it's literally going to be it's not. Yeah, Division 2 sounds like it's going to be like a step down, for example, but it's more of it will be kind of like having the same but on different days. So if a player wants to drive in Mondays and Tuesdays, they can do that. But the teams will be prioritized based on the pace of all the drivers. So there's not going to be any overpowering of, let's say, for example, you put a critical damage with with a Bosnian helmet, for example. You wouldn't put those guys together because they're too strong. So you'd mix up the teams and get everybody. So everyone can sign up to one or two. If you prefer to race on a Monday and you don't want to race on a Tuesday, you can do that, and vice versa. So there's no real tier structure based on pace at this moment in time.
All right. Yeah, obviously, there's probably going to be involvement from you inside of a car again. What are you looking forward to the most in 2025?
I just want to be back in the top 10. We usually do a full qualifying at the end of the season or a couple of times in a season, and I just want to make it to Q3. That's really my target because at the end of the 23 game, I was high up on the standings, getting a P5 in season 2 or season 1 and then down to P10 season 2. So I'm just looking to get back to old form this game has been very difficult to me to get to grips with, but 6 months later, I'm now starting to figure out, what the deal is with this game. So hopefully, it's. I'm at the bottom right now. I'm literally around P20, so I'm looking to just go up, up and up. That's my hopes.
All right, wishing you the best of luck there, and obviously excited to see what Mondays will bring in terms of racing next time. Thank you very much for that insight.
Thank you.
And moving to our final guest on this drivers interview list, and it's no other than the league's owner, Fallison. Obviously, yeah, not racing even a full lap on the final day of this league officially. That is certainly a bummer, but obviously, with the things that Quincy just stated, you must be also looking forward to less frustration on Mondays in terms of the game and your relationship with it. So, how was that? And how do you reflect on this? What has been a very exciting time for league racing on Monday?
Yeah, it's been a long time that every single Monday, pretty much every Monday, I had to do something. I always had to be here, or I don't know. It's gonna be weird. It's also gonna be nice to just not stress about anything. And I also know that Quincy he just does it better than me. So the guys, if they liked what I did, they're definitely gonna be happy there. If they decide to make that move. But yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, looking at the racing part for this very short season, you had a highlight in Austria where you took the win there. The second place last time out in Abu Dhabi with that extra VSC throwing into the mix. Is that time off, and especially the time where you don't have to worry about things like getting drivers in and doing all this admin stuff, gonna free up some space in your head to maybe focus more on racing? What is your intensity in terms of racing looking like for 2025?
I don't think that was much of an issue before. It's more like
So
the
you're just
game.
slow.
I just don't enjoy the game, so I don't
Okay.
practice. I don't want to practice. I don't, it. Monday has been, Monday and Tuesday is my league racing day. So these are the 2 days when I'm actually playing this game on the day. Um, I just don't really enjoy it, and it's because this is one of the reasons why I'm stopping, because I just don't enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy to play the game, then it's definitely very, very difficult to run a league and to
Yeah.
expect everyone to feel the same way, or to enjoy being there, or yeah, it's just I'm a moody motherfucker. That's the problem. And if I don't enjoy something, it's just I lose interest. So hopefully a little bit of break from the game will, I don't know, wake up something in me, and I can come back stronger. It's either that or I stop playing altogether because I just have enough of it.
Okay, we're looking forward to what the Ball of Fortune will tell us about your future in racing. Is there something else on your chest you want to bring out to these drivers, to these viewers that have been watching back? What is the part you've been most proud of in these last couple of seasons?
It's just the amount of people that we had across all these seasons, all the originals, to stick with us this whole time. Um, as much as I didn't really enjoy having Ninja here, but we started him off pretty much. And actually, I did enjoy every single person that has been here, because without them, it would have never happened. There was only a little dream, like a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago now. I just wanted a no assist league, and I couldn't find any, so I made one. But now there is so many. I feel like it's just time to stop it for me. But I would like to thank every single person that's been at some way part of this, especially Lambo, Quincy, Broly. There has been a couple of guys. PRL, Chris, thank you very much for helping me start this thing. But yeah, I wish everyone the best, and I hope I see them on Monday in SSRL.
I certainly hope so as well. And as I said before, thank you for that opportunity to take me into the parts of commentary on English. As people know, I'm German and I've done that a couple of times and years ago, but I wanted to stretch my wings and find out if I can exceed at a different language as well. So thank you again
It's been
for
amazing. It's been
for-
amazing. I'm sorry
thank you.
about your voice sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it's great. You made it, go into the next level.
Thank you.
With the commentary, it was great.
Yeah, I hope and everyone enjoyed that as well. Yeah, that has been it now. Finally, the 7th race of the season has been concluded, and no stabilizers allowed. Would also move into Christmas break and will come back under the name Silly Season Racing League Division 2. If you enjoyed this, check out the pinned message on the stream right now. You can see the YouTube channel of SSIL that will be filled with the race VODs, just like the YouTube one for no stabilizers allowed has been throughout the season. The races are going to be on there. The streaming will be moved from my channel towards there. Just personally, I'd like to prefer having all the German content here. If someone is coming in and speaks English, I'm obviously gonna answer that as usual. But in terms of the content and setting up my personal channel, which is also a journey for me right now, that has been starting and going throughout that 2024 so far. We continue, but will be solely based on German content. So that will be moved. You can see all of the current races of the current season in season 4 for Silly Season there, and there will be a very well deserving finale tomorrow at 19:30, so 7:30 British Standard Time. If you want to watch this, will be hosted by GDave11 on Twitch. If you want to check that out. And once again, thank you for all the drivers who participated. Thank you for the admin team to make this thing such a blast on Monday. And if you want to hear my voice again, be sure to check out the first weekend of January, and you will be seeing streaming this Monday a league racing event again. And have a great Christmas. Have a good time with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, and see you again soon. And have a nice start to your 2025 as we continue to get another season underway and going for you at the start of January. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being here, and thank you again, fellas in Lambo and also Broly, for this amazing adventure. It has come to a close. The final chapter is done, and wish you the best. Have a great rest of the week, and see you again soon. Bye.